Time now to head over to Amanda in this morning's Green Thumb segment.
That's right. You've probably seen a lot of flowering trees starting to bloom out there. Well, Ryan Bates is here today from Ted's Gardens. And Ryan, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Oh, glad to be here.
We're going to get to your questions in just a minute, but first, spring flowering trees. And you brought some great examples in this morning.
Yeah, now's a great time to start thinking about planting some trees. With Earth Day and Arbor Day coming up here next week, great opportunity to do that. And I brought along a few flowering trees here to show you. We've got over here on my left, there's a real nice little flowering cherry tree, and it will actually produce cherries, pie cherries that you can eat, but they're also a wonderful little flowering tree. This one's a little dwarf one. It doesn't grow more than about 8 to 10 feet tall. Nice. So it's real small, easy to take care of in the average homeowner's yard, and you don't need 2 of them for pollination. Just
I've got one in my front yard, but every year the birds come in and they eat all the cherries.
Yeah,
Is there any way you can stop them?
Yeah, they've got some netting called bird netting, and it's just a real fine black mesh that you put around the tree. Once it's around the tree, you don't really even see it because it's so thin, but it'll keep the birds out of your cherries.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what is this over here, this twisty kind of thing going on?
Well, this is called the contorted Louisa crabapple. It blooms with pink flowers, and we actually made the tree do this just by, as the tree was growing. I think actually the way it was done was with a tube. They put a tube in there and then wrapped the trunk around the tube while it was young, let it grow and harden off, and then you kind of continue to move that up with that bamboo stake, and it'll keep swirling its way up. But it has this nice weeping form, beautiful flowers, actually form kind of a column shape when it's full grown.
That is so cool. Just
something very different.
All right.
And then I also have over here, this is actually a lilac tree.
Oh, a tree?
You've probably seen the smaller little dwarf lilac shrubs.
Yeah.
This is one they've grafted up onto a trunk so that you have a short trunk and then this nice ball of flowers.
Oh, fun.
Real pretty. They usually bloom in May. This one's getting budded here pretty well. Just a really neat plant. Nice lavender colored flowers.
All right, we want to get to our callers. We have Sharon from Des Moines with a question for us this morning. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning. I have a very, very old, like 30-year-old forsythia bush, and it needs to be moved or cut down. I'd rather move it. Can I move it right now?
No, you really can't move them right now. When they're actively growing is not really the best time to move those. It's best to do it when the plant is dormant. You could try it, but with one that old, you're going to need a very substantial root ball, probably, I'm guessing your plant's probably 6, 7, 8 feet tall and wide. You're probably going to need a root ball that's about 2.5 to 3 foot wide and probably at least that in depth also. So you're talking a pretty substantial plant.
I trimmed a lot of it back last fall, but it's still fairly large, but then it's either move it or lose it.
Yeah, I would say you would probably be dollars ahead by just cutting it out, getting rid of it, and just planting a new one.
All right, Sharon, thank you so much for the call. We've got Deborah from West Des Moines. Deborah, what's your question?
Yes, I had some creeping phyllox, and it was accidentally weed whacked last fall.
Oh, no.
And I'm wondering if the roots are not gone, is it still going to come back?
Well, on creeping phyllox, it's kind of it's a dwarf semi-evergreen kind of plant. I'm going to say your likelihood of it coming back is fairly slim. You can leave it for probably another month or so, see if you see anything coming up. If you don't see anything coming up in a month or so, it's probably not going to make it.
So best to replant then?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. All right, if we didn't get to your question, we've got a graphic here. It'll give you the information. You can call Ted's Gardens yourself. It's 981-1075. They'll help you out with whatever you need. They're located down in Cumming at the old apple orchard. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Thank you.